Just because you outgrow people doesn't mean that you're a bad person and that you never cared for them in the first place. You don't have to feel guilty about saying no or creating distance. So, welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Psy Guidance. Let's just jump straight into today's video. The reason why you don't need to feel guilty is because when it was you, how did these people treat you? Speaking from experience, when you gave your time, your energy, your finances, and your resources genuinely because you wanted these people to do well and you weren't expecting anything in return, how did they appreciate that? Were they grateful? Were they giving you energy in return? Or did they take advantage of you? Or did they say things to you like, nobody asked you to do this, or nobody told you to do this? I've been there and I've done that, especially when it's on the opposite end, when you expect people or think people are doing things for you because they genuinely want to. And then time goes by and they end up throwing it in your face and telling you, well, I was one who did this for you, or you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, or excuse me, all these other things. And nobody wants to be told that. Me personally, when I've had people say that to me, it just made me realize that their intentions were not genuine. And if you're going to give to people, it's a choice, but not just that. If you did that just to have control or to make yourself feel better, I wouldn't want you to do anything for me, and I'd rather not ask. But instead of closing ourselves off, instead of getting upset when people don't give us the same energy in return, stop giving to them. Your time, your energy, your finances, and resources. If people are not able to provide for you in any area of your life, you don't need to be around them and you don't feel guilty. If you don't have the resources and the tools and the guidance to help somebody, you saying no is because you don't have it right now, right? And even with people who have resources and don't want to help you, you shouldn't feel any type of way. Like, I've had a lot of people who had certain resources and tools and chose not to help me. Instead of getting mad and instead of feeling like upset about it, I just accepted, okay, this is who they are. This is their character. I don't want to continue to ask, or I don't want to continue to surround myself with them. And me personally, it just made me realize that other people wanting not to help you is on them. Like, you honestly won't feel phased if people choose not to help you, even if they do have the resources or even if they don't. Same thing applies to you. If you tell somebody that you don't want to be with them, or if you have to cut certain people off and they feel some type of way, do they even care about you? And me personally, I've learned this at an early age in life. I've been through people who did negative things. I didn't allow it to stop me or affect me. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thank God I've never cared for these people, because one, I knew they weren't gonna be in my future and they didn't have my best interest. Now, this doesn't mean everybody, but a lot of the people I've encountered were seasonal. They were based off of circumstances. I've only had a couple of real friends and a couple of real family members. And disclaimer, just because you grow up in the same house as somebody doesn't mean y'all are really family. Just because you date somebody doesn't mean they really like you. Just because you went to school with people doesn't mean they're really your friends. Like, somebody who wants to help you is going to help you. It's simple. You don't have to force people to help you. You don't have to beg people to help you. And once again, if somebody has the resources and the tools, they're going to help you. The only people who don't help you when they have it are people who are not for you. And sometimes it's going to be your family members. Sometimes it's going to be your significant others. Like, them choosing not to be there for you should not stop you. And me personally, it didn't do anything for me. And this is why I'm making this video. Like, when you create distance, I don't feel guilty. Because I know when I was giving my time, my energy and effort into people, the people who appreciated it, and the people who didn't, I'm no longer in my life, and they're no longer going to be in mine. And that's the thing. Just because you choose to be a good person, people think you're naive. Only a manipulator thinks that. Only people who have low vibrational energies think that you being a genuine person is clueless, or that you're ignorant, or that you're dumb. Like, there's a whole difference between you being a good person and a people pleaser. I made a video about that. When you're being a people pleaser, you're doing things for validation. Nobody's telling you to help people if you don't want to help people. You don't have to. Some people are going to be selfish. Once you realize somebody's selfish, okay, you don't need to internalize it or take it personal. If you're going to give, don't expect anything in return. If you're going to give your money, your time, your resources, don't expect nothing in return, because some people can't help you the way that you help yourself. And this is why it's imperative to decide what type of people you want to be around. If you gave everything that you could in certain relationships, certain jobs, certain atmospheres, and they weren't even trying to get to know you, they weren't trying to pour into you in any other way, you feeling guilty, you shouldn't. Because people are aware. People know when they have good people in their life. And if somebody is naive, they will take advantage, and then that person will be removed out of their life, because nothing and nobody's going to be in your life forever. And they realize that, and people will apologize. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some people may not come back and apologize to you. You shouldn't expect them to apologize, because if your intentions were genuine, if you had a good heart, if you were a good person, you didn't lose and you didn't gain anything. And I'm going to make that into a whole separate playlist, or let me know if you want me to talk about that. People betraying you has nothing to do with you. Betrayal is only personal if you gave more of yourself to that person. Betrayal is not equal, and it's not personal. Like, choosing to be a good person is based off of yourself. When you are a good person to yourself, other people doing things for you, you realize not to take people for granted. And like I said, if you don't know these things, you'll realize in the moment or afterwards. When you are a good person to yourself, you don't come last, and people can't manipulate you. When you have strong boundaries and strong standards, the only people who are going to have a problem with you or try to make you feel guilty are people who are not meant to be in your life, or people who try to take advantage of you. And as you cut people off, as you elevate, after you go towards the things that you want, the right people will come into your life. But until you cut certain people off and stop giving it to people who don't pour into you, you're going to continue to feel disappointed, or you're going to feel let down. And honestly, we have to do some self-reflection. You can't get mad that you gave your time, energy into people, and they shown you that they were not able to pour into you. Now, just because somebody does not give you the same time, energy, and effort doesn't mean that they can't show up in different areas of your life. But that needs to be established. And speaking from experience, what I realized with the relationships that I actually valued, communication goes both hands. Meaning, or both sides. Or both hands, because, okay? But meaning, the people who I wanted to be in a relationship with, we both were on the same page. We both knew that we had to communicate. We both knew that it takes time, it takes energy and effort. It's a mutual understanding, not one-sided. So like, all the people that, let's just say, you're giving your time into and they're not giving in return, it's one-sided, and vice versa. Anybody who's constantly giving your time, energy, and effort, and you don't feel the same way, it's one-sided. And as you grow, as you mature, you realize if relationships are mutual or if they're one-sided. But you don't need to feel guilty. So if you feel guilty, these are some recommendations to help you be aware. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, oh my gosh, guys, I think I need a tissue. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, when you give to people, how does it make you feel? Because if you're giving to people just so you can be superior, you don't have to do that. And once again, that comes back on you, the self-reflection. You giving to people to make yourself feel good, you don't have to. Being a good person is a choice. I don't know if you know that, but disclaimer, being a good person is a choice. Everyone's not going to be a good person. Everyone's not going to like these videos. Everything is not for everybody. That's not our focus, right? So once you ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing, you're aware. The second thing you have to do in order for you to not feel guilty is ask yourself, how do people return the energy to you? Whether it's financially, psychologically, physically, mentally, time, right? Are people showing up in your life the same way, if not equivalent to what it is that you're giving? And the reason why it's really important to understand if people are pouring into you the same way is for you to realize where you need to pour your energy into. Everyone may not deserve your time, your resources, your energy all day, every day, your undivided attention, or even at all. You have to decide who gets what, when they get what, and vice versa. So the third thing is standing strong in your boundaries. If you have the guidance and the wisdom to help people, help them, because anybody knows what you put out comes back to you. But if you don't want to help people because they weren't helping you at all, or they manipulated you, they took advantage of you, you're allowed to cut people off. You're allowed to create distance. This doesn't make you a bad person. 99% of the time when people give energy and they return it back, it's mutual. The only time you may not get nothing back is if, excuse me, you guys, I don't know why I keep burping, is if the relationship wasn't mutual. So the fourth thing you need to do in order for you to not feel guilty is remind yourself when you were going through things, who was there for you? Because I can count on my hand. Nobody was there for me when I was going through things. A lot of people, when you go through certain situations, are not meant to be in your life, or they weren't for you to be in your life. So the reason why I said nobody was really there for me is because as I was growing, as I was going through certain things, a lot of people were removed because they didn't have genuine intentions, or we had to grow apart because we're both growing in two different directions. So honestly, you're going to have some people in your life for certain seasons and reasons, and they'll help you and they'll do what they need to. But as you grow forward, they're not going to be there forever. And me personally, I know the type of energy time that I gave to people. Like I said, the people who appreciated it, they appreciated it. It's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of people in my life that I could count first, middle, and last and say they've always been a good person. Because it's like when you follow with people, it doesn't have to be messy. If you follow with people and people start talking about you to their family members and their friends, they never liked you. If people make rumors and gossip about you, they never liked you. Like, if people try to throw stuff in your face and be like, well, I'm the one who did this, they didn't have genuine intentions. And for me, not everybody, but majority of people, they didn't have genuine intentions. And I never internalized it because a long time ago at an early age, I've learned not to expect things from other people. And that's the last thing that's going to make you not feel guilty. If you don't expect things from other people, why should you feel guilty? If you know you did what you did, why would you feel guilty? Now, this doesn't mean I'm perfect. This doesn't mean that I don't have certain things that I had to grow from, right? But I know what I did. I know what I did. They know what I did. And like I said, relationships goes both ways. I'm not going to be guilty because two people, let's just say me and another person, made certain choices that we both had to learn from. If we both had to learn and grow from certain things in a relationship or whatever it was, we're both aware of that. Now, me personally, I've apologized to people who didn't have genuine intentions to me. And the reason why I would apologize to them, and a lot of people think that's crazy, is because I knew on my end my intentions were genuine. So it's like if I didn't want to hurt somebody or harm them, I'm going to apologize. I'm not a prideful person. And you have to realize that if people don't apologize and change their behavior or tell you why they're sorry, it doesn't hold any weight. I've apologized to people who did me wrong. But I apologize because I knew there were certain things that I could have worked on, but I don't feel guilty about it because even though I apologized to these people and I realized they didn't have my best interest, I wasn't going to hold that over my head. You know what you do. I know what I've done wrong and I know what I've done right. And the things that I've done wrong, I genuinely apologize from. I've learned to work and I've continued to move forward from, but it takes both sides. So don't let anybody guilt trip you or manipulate you or gaslight you and make you feel bad because let's just say you had some things that you had to work on and you weren't able to pour that into that person, and afterwards you are. Because if the relationship was meant to be, if you were meant to be around certain people, places and things, environments and jobs, then it would be mutual. 99% of the people that I apologized to who did me wrong did not care about me genuinely. And they didn't apologize unless I apologized, or they haven't gave me an apology. And honestly, I don't want the apology at this point because I've moved past it. So you don't need to feel guilty about elevating. You don't need to feel guilty about becoming the best version of yourself because people are aware. And if they don't know in the moment, if you don't know in the moment, I promise you as the time goes by, everything that's done in the dark is going to come to light. Always keep your hands clean. Always continue to be a good person. When you're a good person to yourself, you get good energy in return. Nobody can manipulate you or take advantage of you. And the only people who are going to have a problem with you are the people who are not meant to have access. And nobody cares about them. That's not what we're focusing on. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting down below. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on your post notification bells. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns, follow me on all social media platforms at Ty_Guidance. All the information will be down in the description box below. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance@summer.com. When you follow me on Instagram, and on TikTok, I'll be going live. And on my story on both platforms, I will do polls and ask you guys questions and see what we need to talk about, what topics or anything that needs to be worked on or anything that we need to remove, as well as in the community section here on YouTube. Check out all the videos that I just posted, as well as any playlists. And if you have a specific topic or question or concern, let me know in the comment section, okay? Don't feel guilty. You're allowed to take up space. You don't have to dim your light. The people that love and appreciate you want you to shine, okay? Bye.